Hi, I'm doing a big painting. This is my largest size and it's the biggest I go because it's the largest panel that I have. And I've done a couple of layers on it already and I'm about to move in and start filling it up with more craziness. So I thought I would just talk initially about scaling up, how to go from working on a smaller scale to working large like this. Because it's quite daunting in a way. First of all, you have to be able to lift the jolly thing onto the wall. And I've measured it so that this is about my wingspan. So it requires a physical, thought about the physicality of it. The other thing that you have to be able to do is you have to be able to get away from it. With a smaller painting, you need to be able to get away from a smaller painting as well to see what the design is like. But a few steps will take you far enough away from a small painting. But on a big painting, you need to get really far away. So I come and stand right back here to look far away to get some distance so I can see the design. Okay, so what tools do I use when I'm doing a big painting like this? I use squeegees instead of colour shapers. I also use these as well, but this is wider so I can spread the paint more effectively with these. I can make a much bigger mark. And you just need more paint. I always make sure that I've got lots of paint because I don't want to start feeling frugal with the paint in any of my paintings, because then you start getting that sort of thin, mean sort of feeling about it. So it has to be large, it has to be expansive, it requires more physical space, it requires more paint, and it will take more time. So this is why I encourage people not to go big if they're still learning and sort of struggling with smaller paintings. It's wonderful to go big, but it's something that you have to work up to. And I certainly wouldn't start going big if you're a beginner, because you're just going to spend a lot more time, a lot more paint. Your learning is going to take longer because you can make all the decisions on a small painting that you will make on a big painting, but you'll just get through it a whole lot quicker. So that's always my best advice. Don't go large until you are ready to go large, until you're handling a small size easily and you're ready to move large. Okay, so I'm going to start working up the next layer on this, and I'll come back to you and show you what I've done when I've done it. Okay, I've brought you in close so you can see the painting. So I've done the next kind of layer, and I need to leave this to dry now. What I did here was I mixed up basically just two colours, and I've just placed them around in the composition. Then I've put them on quite thickly in places. I've put it on sort of with a more transparent, with watery sort of paint, like a glaze in other places. And then I've kind of sort of drenched the painting in water and let the water run through the paint. And so I'm getting nice sort of effects here with that happening. After I've done that, I let the water run a little bit to get some drips happening, and for the water to the paint to just dry a little bit. I want the edges of the paint to dry, and then I come through with a colour shaper and just sort of run through the paint. Most of it's dry now, so I'm not getting this sort of effects, but you get evidence of the edges of a drip, and it looks almost like a drawing. It's a different type of mark, and it's really lovely. So that's what I do with that. So the process is putting the paint on, flooding it with water, letting it drip, letting it dry a little bit, and then scraping around, and that way it just sort of you get all these sort of shifts of paint and overlays, and it's really lovely. So what I'm trying to achieve here is what I like is having a hard edge, so having some of these hard edges, and then having the softness as well, where the paint is less controlled. And so it's just a mix of those two things that I'm trying to create all over this canvas. And then the next step will be finding places and putting in some pattern, which is very contrived and controlled, which is an opposite to what I've got going on here, which is much looser and free and less controlled. So sort of moving between the control and not control, or no control with the media is what I'm trying to achieve here. So I'll keep you posted. Okay, so now I have put those areas of pattern on, and this one I decided I would put most of them down the bottom and just have one at the top. And I've put them on and then I've disrupted them so that I have those sharp edges and then I have the looseness in the areas of pattern as well. When I had them just as the pattern before I had disrupted them, they just sort of felt like they were sitting on the top of the painting. They weren't integrated into the rest of the painting, but now I feel like they are, so that's a good thing. So now I'm going to get my oil sticks and draw on this painting and just get some more linear work going, and then it will have to dry for a few days because the oil sticks take a few days to dry. So that's as far as I've got today, but working on a big painting, you have to do everything bigger. You have to use bigger tools, you have to use bigger brushes, you use more paint, and you have to have more space so that you can get away from the painting, get back away from it and look at it from a distance. And so you need that space to get that distance. Okay, I'll keep you posted as I go with this, maybe make another video in a week or so when I've taken this a little bit further. But so far it feels expansive, it feels full of possibilities at this stage, so it's a nice place to be. Okay, enjoy your painting week.